Hey guys, welcome back once again to Project Element. Today we're working on my wife's 2003 automatic transmission, all-wheel drive. So we're working on this one today. She had her starter go bad. I had to go rescue her the other day up in another county. We tapped on it a couple times, got her started. We thought we had it fixed because she had a bad negative battery cable. If you look right here, one of the first things you need to do when you're starting on this, you need to remove it. I told you in the last video I had actually just replaced mine, and I had replaced hers also. I told you, but I didn't show you. But this is how I kind of built hers. I took this off the old Honda cable. This is the new cable I bought from Advanced Auto, and then I pulled this apart and put it back together, crimped it all back down, and made a nice new heavy-duty negative battery cable. So we've got that unhooked. Next thing we're doing is going to go under the car. We've already taken off the cover. Didn't want to show you how to do that. There's plenty of videos to show you how to do that out there. We showed you on a video before. We've taken that all out. We're going to do the starter from underneath instead of from on top. I've seen videos both ways. I think it'd be relatively easy both ways, but we're going to do it from underneath, and we'll show you what all bolts you need to take out in just a moment.
Okay guys, so here is the starter right here. First thing you want to do when you climb up under here is you want to remove the cable running to the NOx sensor. The NOx sensor is right here. I'm pointing at it. Once you do that, we can go ahead and move on to taking out the bolts of the starter. But if you guys do want to remove this so you don't damage it and you want to be more careful, you can do so. What size?
I believe it's 1 inch and 1/8 or 1 1/16.
1 1/8 or 1 1/16 socket to go ahead and remove that, but we're just going to go ahead and leave it in while we do ours. So we'll move on to showing you guys the bracket. Let me slide under here. There is this little bracket right here. There is a 12mm bolt on it, this bracket right here, and there is another 12. The bolt is sorry, I'm trying to film and point at the same time. It's kind of shaky. There's a 12mm bolt here, and then all the way straight up top. Let me see if I can get this to focus. There's supposed to be a 12mm bolt, but you can see from this image here where I'm pointing right now that there is no 12mm bolt up on that bracket. So we're probably going to remove the small one here and just pull this bracket out, and we'll have to find us new bolt to be able to replace the top one so this all stays secured. So next, on to the starter up here. Okay, so we got the starter here. First you want to go right here. This is a 17mm bolt that you have to remove here. That's easy to get to, and right here in the front it's a large 17mm bolt right here, and the other one
Actually hooked to the socket.
is actually hooked to this ratchet right here and the socket, and it goes all the way back behind the starter. It's basically impossible to show on camera in any form or way unless you tear a whole bunch of stuff out. So we just have this pre-hooked up and started loosening it so we don't have to show you guys that whole process on the video. So you want to go ahead and take the 17mm bolts out, 14mm bolts, 12mm bolts on this little bracket, and the top one, remove that if necessary, or slide it out of the way so you can go ahead and bring the starter down out when you get it all unbolted. Once you guys go ahead and remove the 12mm bolt, that bracket's just loose and it's still connected to cables, so it's not going to go anywhere, but it's loose enough for you to shift it out of the way wherever you need to push it out of the way so you can go ahead and work on the other starter bolts. We're just going to go ahead and take out the 17mm bolt now. Okay guys, so the starter was sitting up in here. Once we got the rear 14mm bolt and the front 17mm bolt out, we were able to shift the whole thing down and through. Nose first. Was it in front of or behind this piece?
Behind.
Behind this. Let me show you guys. And go under. So through right here, there's the frame of the vehicle here. So we got it to be able to come down nose first through here, and then remove this spade connector and pull this rubber off from around it, and it was a 12 millimeter bolt nut to go ahead and remove the connection. So that's pretty much it for that. We did struggle with the 14 millimeter bolts in the back. We had to put a long extension down through the top and do a couple different crazy things to be able to get it out, but we finally get it out. So that's probably going to be the hardest part of all of this, and probably the hardest part to get it back in. So that's it for now, guys. Here in just a couple minutes, we'll show you the new starter.
All right, guys, well, this is the old starter we got out. One thing we've already done is we took this bracket off the old starter and put it onto the new starter. You want to make sure they kind of match up, make sure everything looks like it's about in the same place and all. And as you see with these, it is, you can see on here on this starter, some of these teeth are a little chewed up a little bit, where evidently it was having some issues. This connector here, when you hang it down, you literally just pull it straight backwards. This one's just a 12 millimeter nut. You take it off after you pop that rubber cap. And then once we put it back in, we're going to do the reverse. We're going to stick the rear end up in, and then we're going to connect up these two connectors. Then take this up, fish this back in, and we're going to try to start by getting actually the front bolt in, since it's easier just to get it started. And then we're going to reach back and see if we can get that rear one. If you come up here real quick to the front of the car. This was the little trick we used. Just a little wobble 14, and we actually reached down through here like this and reached down in there to get it. And that kind of helped out. We might have to do that to put it back in, but we'll see. We'll be back with you once we get it in there.
Okay, guys, we're back. We were gone for a while. We had to run to the parts store to return the old Napa. We went to Napa to return the old starter, get our core back for that, and pick up a couple other things. We said that one bolt was missing earlier on in the video. So we got the starter in. We went ahead and put in, first thing we did, we fished it up through this side. There's this bar right here that runs across from the frame of the vehicle. From this back side, we fished it up through back end first with the nose facing down. We plugged the two cables back in. The one's just a spade connector. The other one uses, what was it, a 12 millimeter bolt? 10 millimeter bolt? Not whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. We said for back further in the video, 12 millimeter nut, and swapped over the little bracket from the starter as well. So when getting this back in, we didn't have any difficulties with the 17 millimeter, but that 14 millimeter in the back, we ended up removing the NOx sensor all the way out so we could get a socket and a deep well socket and a ratchet up in there better.
And it is an inch and 1/16 for a NOx sensor.
And it is an inch and 1/16 for the NOx sensor. Go ahead and just save yourself the trouble and take it out in the beginning. We had very hard time trying to get extensions down from up top and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Just go ahead and take this NOx sensor completely out right here before you even get started. Do that first thing.
Amen.
So like I said over here, let me slide over here. We have this little bracket here. You can see the brand new bolt right on there. And we replaced the one up top. So we just took the old one that was down here at the bottom, put it up top, and bought a new one to put right here. The head on that is 13 millimeter now instead of 12 millimeter, but the threads were the same. So that's all connected back up fine. And everything is pretty much done with this. That's all there is to doing this. I know we couldn't film a lot and show a whole lot. It's really tight down under here. I mean, when you get your arm up in here to get back to that bolt, you got to like reach way back to try to fiddle around and mess with that to get it in. So we can't really show that side. It's really hard to film. But the general idea is if you get those two bolts out, you can get the whole thing to slide out relatively easy. So that's pretty much it there, guys. I don't think there's anything else. Anything you want to add? Nope. Okay, guys. Anyways, that's it.
You ready? All right, guys, we just wanted to let you know, as you can see by looking at Lawrence and I, we're pretty big sized guys. One of the things that made it much harder on us is we both have rather large arms, trying to squeeze up and in there around everything. If we were little tiny skinny fellas with little skinny arms, it probably would have been easy, but it wasn't so easy for us. if we ever have to do it again, if I have to ever replace it on my 2004, I'm probably going to try going through the top next time. I saw a video of a guy who says there's an easier way to do it that way. I'm going to try that next time, and we'll figure out which one's the best. Well, now we got to figure out how to put all this stuff back together. Did notice on this vehicle, if you look under this wheel well, this one wheel well fender liner is pretty shot. So we're going to try to see if we can figure out a little ways to patch that up, at least for now, until we can get to the junkyard and get a replacement. Have a good day.